I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
What are you drinking tonight, Mitch?
We've got a ways to go again.
Woo!
Strap in. Our beer of choice for the evening is Ananda India Pale Ale. I don't know if it's Ananda or Ananda.
I'm going with Ananda because it sounds fancier.
It's Amanda, but with an N instead of an M at the beginning. And that's made by the Wiseacre Brewing Company in Memphis, Tennessee. 6.2% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. Brewed by the good folks at Wiseacre Brewing Company in Memphis, Tennessee. Same thing they had on the other one. They don't put any information on their cans.
But their cans are gorgeous.
They are. They're very stylistic.
Whoever their can artist is, keep it up. Great job.
Yeah. The only things there are to say about this one is pretty much hops and nothing else. It's really good if you are a bitter beer fan like I am, but there's absolutely nothing else to say about it. There's no other flavors. Nothing else really comes through. It's just bitter.
Yeah, but if you are just starting to get into like IPAs and stuff like that, I mean, like I like IPAs, but I don't want something like super crazy. That's something that I could drink no problem. So it's getting there. It's hoppy, but it's not so much that like someone that's just starting out with that kind of thing couldn't drink.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. If you're just getting
mild
into IPAs, it's a good starter beer.
It's nice.
Right. It's good.
Very drinkable.
There's nothing bad about it.
But it's nondescript.
It has nothing outstanding about it either.
Yeah.
Though. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Our liquor for the night, we're going with a famous one. First time, we have Tito's Handmade Vodka. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated in Austin, Texas. It's 40% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Crafted in an old-fashioned pot still by America's original micro distillery. There's also a lot of information on the back of it, but I'm not going to sit here and do that because it's really long.
No, like I'm looking at the bottle now and it's like 3 paragraphs and I don't have time for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of information, especially about the actual distillation process that they're using.
It's gluten-free though.
Yeah, I was just
going
to say, the only thing that really stands out for me to say on that is that it's gluten-free, there's no sugar or gelatin added. It's a natural vodka is how they give it.
So if you're vegan or gluten, give it a shot.
Yeah, and it's really good vodka.
I just said if you are gluten.
Yeah,
if you're gluten.
If you're gluten.
I meant, if you've got
you can still try it though. That's the good thing about gluten people, is that if you are gluten, you can still have gluten-free. So it's fine. It's still really good.
I'm sorry, y'all.
But I really like this vodka a lot. That's something I never thought would happen when we started doing these things, that I would start to be a vodka fan. But we've only had good vodkas except for one so far.
Yeah.
This one's really good. That's why it's so famous, I believe.
It's nice.
Just on ice by itself, it gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. It's really good. I also made myself a cranberry and club soda in Tito's. Give it also an 8.5 out of 10. Leah, how is the cocktail that we made you? It's orange juice and cranberry.
I don't know that I would go with it again. It's a little heavy on the cranberry. I mean, but it's...
Well, I made it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I would go with like just straight up one or the other next time.
8.5 out of 10 overall. Now, we also have a special extra beer this episode.
Ooh.
We recently made a trip to Florence, Alabama, because we wanted to visit the Singing River Brewing Company.
We went because you wanted to play golf.
That's not important. We went to visit the Singing River Brewing Company in Florence, Alabama.
Which we did.
And that place is really fun. If anybody lives in the area, go to Florence. Go to their tap room. We had a really good time. The bartender took great care of us. I think her name was Rachel.
Yeah,
is that right?
It was Rachel. She was really cool.
She was really cool. She knew everything about every beer they had.
Yeah, it was great.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Let me get to the beer. I'm sorry. What we have is called Citracabra. It's brewed, like I said, by the Singing River Brewing Company in Florence, Alabama. It's 4.7% alcohol by volume. This is a seasonal beer, and I think it's brand new. Did she tell us that it's new this year?
Yeah, I think it's new, or it's like the first or second time they've tapped it. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's brand new or if they've made it before, but it's a summer seasonal beer, and they only have it on tap at the tap room.
It's not for sale at retail. Oh my God! Excuse me.
Nice.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's not bottled or canned at this point.
Which sucks.
But we brought home a growler of it because
so
Leah
good.
loved it. So
oh my gosh, y'all.
that's what she's drinking. I'm drinking the Ananda. She's drinking the Citracabra. They have a few. We tried every beer that they had there. They have some that I think are incredible that are at retail that we will have at some point. I'm not going to even talk about them yet because we don't have them.
Mitch found his new IPA
Oh
love
my
there.
God, the IPA there. I'm going to get it soon, so we won't talk about it right now. That's not fair to anybody else.
Sorry.
So right now we're going to focus on the Citracabra.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass it over to Leah because this is what she's drinking. I've tried it. I'm not even going to give an opinion on it. It's for her. So Leah, go ahead with your first alcohol description.
Okay, so picture the scene. We have tried to go golfing that morning, but can't because it is pouring down rain. So instead of doing that, we decided to go to Singing River, and we walk in after being pelted by the rain. We walked a short distance to get there, and once we get inside, we sit down. We say we want a flight, bartender's choice, and our lovely bartender Rachel said, "Okay, I can take care of that," and she selected some lovely beers for us to try, and Citracabra. I tried it. I fell in love with it, and I'm really upset that it is not available in stores year round, because it is honestly the best beer that I've ever had for myself. It is, as the name would imply, citrusy. It's very lemony and orangey and sour. It's a very sour beer.
It is sour. It's sharp. I would say sharp.
I love it. It's really refreshing, and it screams summer to me. And and it's a really low alcohol by volume. So this is something that you could drink on the beach just all day and have fun, and
If it were
not
bottled or
get too
canned.
trashy. But y'all, it is only available in the tap room, and that upsets me. So, you should probably get on that, Singing River, because I need a supply. It's not cool that I have to drive an hour to go get some, so maybe can that for me. Love y'all. Okay, bye.
Do you have a score?
12 out of 10.
Ugh, you're reaching here.
It is the best beer that I've ever drank for myself. You get to make up your fancy scale.
Yeah.
Mine's 10 Dobbies out of 10.
Oh. But yeah, we had a lot of stuff. I didn't have one beer I didn't like there. This one just wasn't one of my things because it's, like Leah was saying, it's sharp and citrusy and sour. It is very good. It's just not my taste palette. That's all.
It's so good. And the name is Citracabra.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Oh, I love it.
It's really cute. All right, well, let's do some housekeeping before we get into anything real
Okay.
quick. We have some, I don't know how to say it, controversial news. Well, then
Go
we
ahead.
also have Leah burping.
Sorry.
But we're not entirely sure how much longer we can do the podcast because I recently went to the doctor, and it turns out that I have a condition. It is terminal. I will have it for the rest of my life. And Leah, please. Like, I know this is hard for you just like it's hard for me, but I have something called gamer's thumb. I have tendonitis in my right thumb from, according to my doctor, overusage. I play too many video games.
Y'all, the doctor literally told him he has gamer's thumb and will have it for the rest of his life. Didn't even say,
Well, it's
hey,
just
you
tendonitis. I mean,
yeah,
it's,
but he said you won't even, like, he didn't even recommend you to not play anymore. He just knew that was not an option.
Yeah.
And just was like, get you a little spiky thumb thing.
No, it's called a thumb spica,
Excuse me.
SPICA. And all that it does is keep your thumb straight when you're doing stuff.
He looks ridiculous, y'all.
Oh, God.
Oh.
But on a serious note, this is the first time we've recorded since we have set all of the episodes to release, including number 6 and 7. Those will already have... Well, they haven't released yet, but they're scheduled to be out when we're recording this. We are, last I looked at, like 330-something downloads so far.
Rock on.
Which is awesome.
Woo!
For us. I think it's awesome.
It is awesome.
And some surprise listeners are, which we were pretty sure we'd get like some Georgia in there, and Alabama and Mississippi, and Florida's a big one too.
Yeah.
We have big numbers out of North Carolina.
Hey.
So keep that coming.
Thanks, North Carolina.
Y'all keep spreading the word. We got some in Washington, D.C., quite a few over there.
Some in California and Canada.
Hey, y'all spread the word in the frozen tundra.
Please.
Help us out. Keep it going. And we do need y'all to please get on and rate and review us on iTunes. That'll really help us bump us up and get us some more listeners. That way we can keep going and doing this. We told you in the introductory episode that we have about 200 episodes planned out already. So, we're not going anywhere until at least 2025, I'd say.
Unless Mitch's thumb just falls off, in which case
the thumb could be
we're out. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. But anyway, we just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you.
It's been awesome so far. The feedback we've gotten has been all positive. But, I mean, whenever we hear something negative, we'll get it.
For that one person that downloaded in Australia, I see you, boo. Thank you.
I don't think they've listened since, though. You're just talking to air at this point.
It's okay. They're going to come back. And when they come back, they're going to realize that I love them.
It's awesome. I'm all for it. Just keep spreading the word in Australia, too.
And Belgium.
Oh, yeah, there was one in Belgium.
Yeah,
That's
Belgium.
Freaking weird.
Hey, friends. You okay?
That was for you, Belgium.
No.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't mean it.
No, it was a good thing.
Oh, okay. In which case, he means it very much.
It was a good Belgium.
Okay.
Belgium? Southern Spirits Podcast at gmail.com.
If you want to complain about how much we burp on podcast, I apologize.
Well, let's get into a funny place name. Let's get into some actual content.
Alrighty then.
Give us something, Leah.
Well, this time it is not from Alabama.
Uh-oh.
It's not even from Georgia. It is not from a state that borders the place that we're sitting in right now.
I thought you were going to say it's not even from a southern state. I was like, Leah, you're missing the point.
No, it's from a southern state.
You really showed me.
No, it's from Arkansas, dang it. All right. It's called Toadsuck, Arkansas.
Calm down.
I love that name.
Calm down. Toadsuck.
Yeah, so
I bet the people in Arkansas that have downloaded live in Toadsuck. Uh-oh. I didn't mean it, Toadsuck.
Y'all, if you live in Toadsuck, please send me a postcard from Toadsuck. Honestly, if you live in any place that's got a weird town name, send me a postcard, y'all. That I would love that. But anyway, I digress. So there are 2 stories, like there usually is, about this, and nobody knows how it actually came about being called Toadsuck. But here are the 2 different stories that I found on mentalfloss.com.
Oh, hey.
Hey, shout out. Anyway.
Send us some money, Mental Floss.
Yeah, right. So the first story is that, so in the days of steamboat travel on the Arkansas River, so back when steamboats were like the main fun way to travel, I guess, on the Arkansas River, there was okay, so Toadsuck sits on the river, the Arkansas River, and there was a tavern there that was a frequent stop for the boatmen. So
there's an Arkansas River?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, there's just about an every state river if you look into it close enough. But
I'm sorry.
The Arkansas River is actually a pretty big river.
Okay.
But, yeah, so it was a frequent place for the boatmen to stop and, hang out and then go back on the boat and all that stuff.
Suck some toads for a while?
Yeah, but
hop back on.
The locals said that they would suck on the bottle until they swelled up like toads.
Okay,
So they named their town Toadsuck.
I've heard, over the years, you hear like people swelling up because they're so drunk. Has that ever happened to someone? I've never experienced anyone swelling up on alcohol.
I mean, I've heard people getting wheat belly. You know what I mean? Like when they're drinking beer and it's a lot and it's
that's just gas,
bloaty.
though.
But never seen anyone actually swell up like that.
I just think that means you're allergic to it. Anyway, I'm sorry. You can continue with your toad suck.
Well, I mean, that was the first story. Now, the second story is the one that's probably actually more likely to be the thing. Mm-hmm. So there's this guy named Dr. John L. Ferguson, and he was previously a director of the Arkansas History Commission, and his explanation was that basically the area was originally explored by French merchants, and they spoke French, obviously.
No, like the Spanish people from Spain?
No, they
speak in Spanish?
Shut up. We're not talking about that anymore.
All right.
But the name was like the English settlers came in and they were corrupting a French word. So the example that they cited in that Mental Floss article was, and I can't speak French. I've never taken French.
Oh God, please do it.
Don't come at me, y'all.
Please.
I'm sorry. But apparently Auxarcs, Auxarcs, became the Ozarks.
Oh, wow. I took French in high school, 2 years.
Well, I took Latin.
Oh, wow.
So.
Do you have Citracabra hiccups?
No, I've got cranberry orange Citracabra.
Ugh.
Something's going on. Anyway.
Ugh.
But the Arkansas tourism website even goes along with this, and they have come up with a bunch of different phrases that it could have been that made them say it was called toad suck, and that includes eau de sucre, chateau de sucre, or côte de sucre.
Much better French that time.
I don't know what any of that means. I think sucre is sugar, right?
I don't know.
I think it's sugar. I don't know. But anyway, it's probably just those hill folk, not... That old hill woman didn't speak French.
They were too busy gathering skulls.
They were too busy gathering those really useful skulls. And they couldn't speak French, so... Eau de sucre sounds like toad suck to me, I guess.
I don't think it does.
Well, that's what Mr. Ferguson thought, or excuse me, Dr. Ferguson thought, and I can see that a little bit more than just saying they swelled up like a bottle of toads.
Well, like a bottle of toads?
No, they suck on the bottle till they swelled up like toads.
I have one toad bottle. Please.
Yes.
We'll be trying that next week.
Ooh.
That's next week's beer. It's just toad air.
Yeah. So that was our funny place name, Toad Suck, Arkansas.
Toad suck. And that's just one word? Toad suck?
No, two words.
Oh, it is. It's toad space suck.
Toad Suck, Arkansas.
Ugh.
Gross, right?
That's way worse.
It is.
I never thought that it would be that big of a deal to have a space in the word, but that is completely different.
It's not Toad Suck, it's Toad Suck.
That changes everything about that story. Oh, goodness.
Respect the space.
I like that. Okay, well, what do you say we get into a story?
All right.
Hit me with it.
So, our first story is going to be dedicated to a good friend of mine named Andrew.
Okay.
You know Andrew.
I know Andrew.
You do. Well, the the story is the story of the Fouke monster.
Fouke?
Fouke. 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 And it's also known as the Beast of Boggy Creek.
What?
Now, the first time that I ever heard of the Beast of Boggy Creek, it was probably sophomore year of college for all of us. So, all my friends. We were at Leah's grandma's lake house. We were on Smith Lake at probably midnight in a rowboat.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, okay, we were dumb. Shut up. And instead of just having fun, light conversation to row to, Andrew starts getting freaked out because he's terrified of this docudrama that I'll tell you about later, called The Beast of Boggy Creek, that lays out the story. And he told us about The Beast of Boggy Creek at midnight on a rowboat in the middle of the lake. Scared the ever-loving daylights out of us. And we rowed like heck to shore back to her grandma's house, and we tried to climb up that hill. You've been there. Mm-hmm. That's a steep hill. We ran back up the hill and back in the house, and it was...
You were 20 at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Just making sure.
20. Yeah, so...
My chair's squeaky tonight.
So, yeah, this one goes out to Andrew. Thank you for scaring the crap out of me as a young woman.
Coming at you, Andrew.
Okay, you need to stop that, sir. You are cute, but you are not that cute. All right. So, this takes place, obviously, in Fouke, Arkansas.
All right, let me just hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make something clear.
Yes.
So you're on Smith Lake in Alabama.
Yes.
And you're afraid of the monster in Fouke, Arkansas.
Fouke, Arkansas.
Fouke. Farquhar.
No.
Okay. But you're afraid of the monster about 1,100 miles away.
Okay. Now, it is a Bigfoot-like creature.
Okay.
And we were in the middle of the lake that's surrounded by the woods. It was a little creepy. And like he
I'll
was
take your
like
word for
in
it.
the swampland, and at the time I was terrified. Shut up and let me keep going. All right. So, like I just said, he was a large hominid creature. So he looked like a person, but he wasn't a person because he was a beast of Boggy Creek.
Oh.
So they say that he's about 7 foot tall. He has a chest that's about 3 feet wide. He weighs about 300 pounds. Big guy. Covered in fur. Stinks to high heaven. So, like,
is this the Tennessee Wild Man in Arkansas?
But a little bit more on the Bigfoot side of the Bigfoot man scale. You know what I mean? So, like, you've got this continuum of it's just a hairy guy to it's the fucking Yeti. And all of the Bigfoot or the hominid type, animals, cryptids, call them a cryptid, exist on this sort of continuum between,
Sorry about my mic.
between this, unwieldy, unkempt man to straight up
someone that needs a bath and a haircut.
Yeah,
and someone that honestly has no hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Of ever finding a mate.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, the Tennessee Wild Man was a lot closer to unkempt hipster, and
yeah, that's popular
the Beast
now.
of Boggy Creek is a lot closer to straight up Yeti. Okay, so that's where we're on the scale. We're a lot closer to being a beast than we are to just a stinky guy.
All right.
But speaking of stinky, he was gross. Like, real bad. He smelled, according to the eyewitnesses, between a skunk and a wet dog. And he had bright red eyes about the size of a silver dollar. And he sort of did that monkey arms thing when he walked, you know what I mean? Like they're
long and like past his knees type of thing.
Kind of. So he did that when he was walking. So he was more primate like than he was. Well, I mean, we're primates, but you know what I mean, like the
more on the
monkey side of stuff,
uncivilized scale, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh no, apes are pretty civilized, aren't they?
They're so cute too.
Well, that's oh my god.
Anyway, sorry. I got sidetracked. But anyway, so there are lots of websites dedicated to this monster. The one specifically that is very detailed is, I think, the FoukeMonster.net. And they have a whole chronology of sightings that it's dozens of sightings, and they start in like the early 1900s and they go up to last year. Like, they are still seeing this creature. It is still something that, I mean, like the Tennessee Wild Man, the last time they had heard about this guy was in 2005.
Right.
Well, the last one that they've updated that was reported for the Fouke monster It was like November of last year.
Was it was July of 2012 on Smith Lake in Alabama.
Shut up. No, it was not. But the actual big story that people talk about with this particular one is from, well, okay, so there's a couple. But the first one that's on record as really having put it on the map was the 1964 sighting. And in 1946.
Son of a bitch, I already wrote 64.
You know I have that thing where numbers transpose on me. I can't help it. But it was 1946, and there were sightings all through the Jonesville region, and at that point in time, they called it the Jonesville Monster.
Oh.
But
He's moving up then.
Yeah. But they report, more of the reports were in the Falk area, but they all think that these are the same animal. Or person.
Being.
Cryptid. We're going, ooh.
The same hominid. Are you okay?
I thought I was going to sneeze and I didn't. Oh, that was unpleasant. Anyway, so the 1971 case is the big one.
Well, why did I even write down 46 then?
I don't know. I was just trying to give you a little bit of background, but I guess
Thank
it
you.
didn't help very much.
Well, I liked learning about Jonesville.
Okay, great. Okay, so 1971 is where, like I said, the big story that people have made the documentary about, and I say documentary very loosely. It was a docudrama horror movie, basically, but we'll talk about that in a second. So in 1971, Bobby and Elizabeth Ford reported an attack on May the 2nd. So Elizabeth was in the house, and they had just moved into this house. This house, they had lived there for about a week, Elizabeth and her husband Bobby. And Elizabeth was in the house taking a nap on the couch, and Bobby and some of his friends had gone out hunting. So she's taking a nap on the couch. They're out hunting. I said that already. I'm sorry. I'm repeating myself.
No, it's fun. You're helping me establish a scene.
Yes.
Because I was going to ask what they were hunting.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what you hunt in Arkansas. Ducks, maybe?
I think it's pretty much the same everywhere, just depending on the season.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what you hunt in May, but whatever you hunt in May in Arkansas.
I don't know if you can hunt in May. I don't know. It was
Whatever.
the 70s. It's a lot looser of a time.
Yeah. So, according to Elizabeth, she woke up because there's like a smell and a noise, and she looked over and saw this giant furry arm that had reached through her and broken through the screen window. So I'm sure she had like the windows up and air coming through, and this creature had clawed open the screen and was reaching into the window. She freaked the fuck out, and initially she thought it was a bear, but she looked at it some more and realized that ain't no bear. And she started
Did it have
like,
an opposable thumb?
I don't know that she was looking at his thumbs. I really don't. But she was freaking
mine.
out real bad and started screaming. And at that time, the husband and the husband's brother had come back from hunting, and they saw the monster and started shooting at it. So
In the house?
no, it was like it was on the porch. It was still
that's
outside.
right.
It
That's
hadn't
right.
gotten in.
The arm was in the
So
house.
they had gotten back a little bit earlier than that, and they saw it, and they were attracted to it because she was screaming. They see the monster. They're like, oh shit, this is a monster. And they've got their hunting rifles, so they bang bang at... I'm sorry. They shoot
I'm gonna
at...
spit vodka.
They shoot at this creature, and they think they hit it, but it doesn't really go down. They don't understand, and it runs off. It chases off, or it goes away. Well, it's sort of... They think it's fine, and then the monster comes back. And anyway, Bobby sort of tries to fight it off, and he gets like slashed down the back, and so he gets
Oh, it has claws?
bruises. Yeah, it's got pincers.
No.
No, it doesn't have pincers.
Why would it have...
I just like
Come
that
on.
part of Harry Potter.
It can't have pincers.
It doesn't. It just has fingernails.
Pincers.
But it gets like sort of a slash down his back, and he's a little bit beat up. And the stories range from he got a scratch to he was wildly thrown across the yard. It just depends on who's telling it. And
Those are two very different things.
exactly, which is, whatever. So he gets scratched, and he was suffering from shock. And they go to the hospital, get him fixed up, and they go to the sheriff's office and say, balls, there is something out here. Like, just, holy balls, there is a monster running around. You, sir, need to figure it out.
Balls. Like, I thought the sheriff was named Balls for a minute. Listen, Balls.
No.
We got a problem.
No, I'm sorry. Balls is sort of my multi-purpose curse word. I apologize.
Balls.
So yeah, he was suffering from shock. He was really freaked out. He told the sheriffs, "Look, this is scary. I'm hurt. Look at me."
Look at me.
So the sheriffs come back to the property.
Sheriff Balls.
His name is not Sheriff Balls, just the sheriff. He comes back, and they sort of investigate the area. They couldn't find any traces of blood, so they don't think that the creature was actually hit with anything. And they found scratch marks on the porch. They saw some damage to the window and the house's siding, where it probably was leaning up against it. It was some cracked and crushed siding. And then there were, like I said, scratches and that kind of thing. But no blood, no hair, no other kind of thing.
What about semen?
Ew. Why would the monster...
Because anytime at a crime scene, I watch a lot of cop shows. Anytime there's blood or hair, there's probably semen.
Gross.
You don't think they had fuck monster semen?
You can't call it that.
What? Can't call what?
His name is the Falk Monster.
Falk.
Mr. Falk Monster.
I seriously keep forgetting how to pronounce that place.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so they also found footprints. Like you do. Mm-hmm. And the shot in the dark question is... how many toes...
What?
does the Falk Monster have?
Well, he had pincer hands, so I can only guess he had pincer feet. He's just pincing everything.
Your answers could be A, 5 toes. B, 3 toes. Or C, 6 toes. How many toes does the Falk Monster have?
All right, let's try to piece this one together.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. The arm came in the window, and we never found out if there was an opposable thumb. So
That doesn't help.
she knew it wasn't a bare hand, though.
Yes.
She knew that.
It did not look like a bare hand coming through her window,
And I'm only
snatching her people up.
guessing just by probability that it is going to have the same amount of phalanges on hands and feet. Phalanges goes for both, right? For fingers and toes?
I don't know that. Sorry.
Well, phalanges. So, she knew it wasn't a bear. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say 3.
You're correct!
Woo!
Means I have to take this shot.
Yeah.
In
I'm
our
real
fancy
good at these
shot
questions.
glass.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Let's tell them that the Leah that was mentioned earlier also made us shot glasses that we'll take pictures of and put up. She put our logo on the shot glasses,
It's
the vinyl.
super cute.
They're very cute.
Amber and Aaliyah did a shot of 2 shot glasses for us, and they've got like the bottle and then the banner going across it. It's very cute.
It's very cute. But now Leah gets to take the first shot out of one of those shot glasses. It's delicious Tito's. Just have you something ready.
This looks like
to
a
chase.
really big shot. We had a bonfire over here, and they made cheesecakes in these cute little shooter glasses. And I'm really wishing this was cheesecake.
It's close.
Ready?
Yeah. I'm not waiting on me. There you go. You did so well. Wash it down now. Get you some juice. We have got to start simulcasting these. Like, we got to start making YouTube videos so that people can see your face. This is so much fun. She was flapping her arms and stuff.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Uh-huh.
Y'all, that's awful. I much prefer the Elizabeth vodka to that.
Well,
Ooh.
I'm sorry. I like it. I haven't had a shot of it yet, though.
No, okay. Side story.
Pass me the shot glass back.
Side story.
Thank you.
I have a weird, like, fuzzy mustache, like all women have, okay? Everybody's got one. It's Vella's hair. I'm sorry. I've got
Who's
that.
Vella?
What?
Who's Vella? You said it was Vella's hair.
Not Vella's, Vellus. Vellus.
I
Vellus.
just don't know who that is.
It's the little tiny baby hairs that are all over everybody's everything. It's
Gross. Leah?
We're mammals, okay? So I've got this little shaver that I got off of Amazon to make sure that, you can't see my mustache because it is shaved off. And I shaved my mustache this morning, and I clipped the very tip of my Cupid's bow, like a tiny little cut.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah, like this is the philtrum. So the little dip down part is called a philtrum. And
Look at what
when
you
it's
learned
your
listening to us.
lips, it's called your Cupid's bow.
Okay.
And I have a little bitty cut right there on my Cupid's bow. And I took that shot. It felt like the devil himself was trying to stab me in the top of the lip.
So it didn't taste that bad. It was just the cut.
I mean, it burns really bad. Don't get me wrong, but the lip cut doesn't not help.
Oh, this is fun.
I didn't mean to tell about my mustache.
Well, it's out there now.
I hope y'all don't think any less of me for having a mustache. It's not like a heavy mustache. It is very blonde. It is very light. It is a baby hair mustache like all women have.
I just remembered something. We want to encourage there to be drinking games for the podcast. One of them is going to be because we've listened to the episodes since we've released them. One of them is going to be anytime that I say that might be the title of the episode. Take a shot or finish a beer or something, and y'all don't think less of me because I have a mustache might be the title of the episode.
Thank you for that. I really hope
I'm
you
not gonna
edit
do
this
that.
out.
No, it's staying.
Please take this out.
Okay, I promise. Wink.
You're
to
lying
all
to me,
the
aren't you?
listeners.
Anyway, so
Voice wink.
3 toes. It has 3 toes. You were correct,
Oh,
sir.
yeah, the story.
Yeah. So yeah, it was 3 toed footprints, which is weird because generally primates have 5, and if this were like a real creature, you would expect 5 toes, right?
Yeah,
5
that's
toes?
what I expect.
Yeah. So
I expect that out of all of my creatures.
then it was spotted again later that month. So on the 23rd of 71 in May, 3 other people saw it and reported it crossing Highway 71. And there were even more sightings that followed. Residents, tourists, everybody have seen it all over the place. Like I said, up until today. I mean, the sightings are still very active in that area. And another thing about that was those poor people that got reached in on that cabin, those folks, they sold that house like the next week and were out of there. So finally, someone experiences something crazy and isn't just
leaves.
like, whatever. They had just moved into that house and they were like, no,
Nope.
fuck this noise.
Have there been
out.
any more 3-toed footprints found?
Yes, lots of 3-toed footprints. There are like soybean fields around there, like there are here. It's a pretty standard crop, and they found them in sort of the between the rows in the ground there, the 3-toed
Excuse me?
footprints. now they've been scrutinized by now the prints. You know, they make castings, they make plaster castings of the footprints, and they've been sent off to local universities and game wardens and all of that stuff, and they look okay. Most people don't think they're real.
Well, yeah, they doesn't sound real.
But some people think they are real. And maybe they are. Who knows? But this whole story got so big in the area that in 1972, 1972, they started filming a movie called The Legend of Boggy Creek, which is what Andrew saw that scared the crap out of him from earlier. Or it might have been like one of the sequels. I don't remember if it was the original one. Yeah, there's like 4 of those movies. If you want to look them up, I've seen the first one, and it is hilariously bad, and I love it. Would recommend if you're into like B-movie monster
Campy
stuff. Shit. It's good. And it's shot in sort of a docudrama style, so you think, oh, this is like a documentary of what actually happened, and they used a lot of locals and stuff like that. But yeah, they made this movie, and it has a cult following. It really does. So if you're interested in this story, watch that movie. It's pretty cool. But it became, like, it was one of those, like, B-movie creature features that they would play at the drive-ins.
Ooh,
and that
creature
kind of thing.
features.
Yeah. Like the Universal Monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a really popular genre. So it became sort of, like I said, a cult classic. And just interest in that story has grown over the years. And, you know, it's a thing in that area. There's lots of gift stores where you can buy Beast of Boggy Creek merchandise and those movies. And like I said, they're still being seen to this day. So, you know, is it a thing? Is it not a thing? I don't know.
I don't believe it's a thing.
It might be a thing.
It might, but okay. Can we just...
But it also might be a bear. Like, she initially thought it was a bear.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a bear.
Well, bears don't have 3 toes either. But
Right.
I'll tell you this. If this thing has been farting around since the early 1900s with 3 toes, at some point it's going to, like, get some flip-flops or something. Because it could wear the fuck out of some flip-flops with 3 toes.
What?
There's 1 in the back for stability and 2 in the front. And you put a thong down the middle of it. You got yourself some shoes.
I think it's like a heel and 3 toes. So like a chicken foot almost?
Oh, maybe it's just a giant chicken bear. It's a chicken bear.
Oh, bless its heart. It's a chicken bear. No, but...
I gotta fix my chair. I'm so squeaky.
But yeah, they are basically so they've sent it to, like I said, a bunch of colleges looking at the tracks, and basically everybody in academia thinks that it's a hoax. It's not a real thing. Basically, they were a 3-toed creature. Obviously, primates all have 5 toes. All hominids have 5 toes.
Hominid.
And it would also, most primates are, you know, out during the day. And this monster appears to be mostly nocturnal.
Nice.
So basically everybody thinks that it's probably not a real creature, but maybe it is.
Maybe.
And I like Sasquatches, all sorts and types of Sasquatches.
All shapes and sizes and toes of Sasquatches.
On all parts of the hipster to Yeti scale. And we'll be talking...
I forgot about the continuum.
We'll be talking about a lot more Sasquatch type creatures over the next 200 and whatever episodes.
As we learned in an earlier episode, everybody's got Sasquatches.
Yeah, everybody does have some kind of Sasquatch.
I didn't know about that.
This is Arkansas's, and I think he's pretty cool. And if you really like bad horror movies, go for it.
I think he's pretty cool. He just needs more toes. Poor guy.
Oh, it is hard to get shoes to fit when you've only got 3 toes.
Yeah. See, I thought that it was like a triangle type thing. So that it would be easy to wear a flip-flop. But now I look stupid.
A little bit. But, I mean, you could still wear flip-flops on 3 toes as well as you could on 2 toes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who's going to make, shoes that big? He's, like, 7 feet tall.
Well, how big are the feet, though? How
Pretty
big are the
big.
prints?
Like, not like Bigfoot big, but like pretty big. Like, he's 7 foot tall. Of course they're big.
That doesn't translate transmogrification
That's not the right word.
into big feet.
How does that not transfer into big feet? Have you ever met a 7 foot tall person and looked at their feet?
I've never met a 7 foot tall person.
Well, I have, and they have giant feet.
I'm sure they do. This isn't a person. We've established that.
He is a entity.
They could be hooves. They could be hooves.
Or chicken feet.
3-pronged hoof chicken feet. Oh, what if chickens had hooves?
That's just
They'd clippity-clop all over the place.
I think I've had too much to drink, y'all.
Well, hell, we're 45 minutes in already.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
This will be a long one. This will get you through half the workday, though.
All right, well, we've actually got a long story after that, so let's wrap that one up.
Shit.
And go for our second story.
All right, I'm ready for number 2.
Our second story comes from Bibb County, Georgia.
Oh.
And we're talking about the Wolf Fork Axe Murders.
Wolf Fork?
Wolf
Wolf
Fork.
Fork. Axe
It's
murder.
spelled Woolfolk, but just say it Wolf Fork.
Wool.
It looks like Wolf Folk, but it said
Woolfolk.
Wolf Fork.
Okay. Well, all right then.
All right, so the guy that we're going to be talking about is Thomas G. Woolfolk, and he was born in Bibb County, Georgia, near Macon, on June the 18th of 1860. His parents were Richard and Susan Woolfolk, and he was their third child and only son. So he had 2 sisters.
Huh.
And shortly after his birth, his mom died, and his
Aw.
father sent him and both of his sisters to live at their aunt's house. It was their mom's sister, so the maternal aunt. Her name was Fanny Moore, and she lived in Athens, Georgia.
Fanny Moore.
Yes, Fanny Moore.
Huh.
So Tom spent the first 7 years of his life there in Athens with his aunt, and basically that means at that time period he rode out the Civil War, so from 1861 to 65 there at that house, and then he was also there for the first part of Reconstruction. So it was not a happy, calm time that he was living in Athens, Georgia.
So the mom died, and the dad was just like, I don't want these kids.
That
and
was
sent
a
them to the
very
aunt.
standard practice at that time period. If the mother
The woman
died,
has to take care. A woman has to take care of these kids or something.
Yeah, it is very prominent in that time period. If the mother dies, they will ship the children off between relatives to take care of them until they can find another wife, which is what happened.
Oh.
So in 1866, Tom's dad, Richard, remarried a lady named Maddie. So she's Maddie Woolfolk. And so the children were brought back from their aunt's home to be reunited with the father and the new mother on his cotton plantation near Macon. Ooh,
You are having a night.
that Tito's is rough.
I think it's delicious. I haven't shot it yet, though.
Just wait. It'll
Oh,
burn
really?
your lip.
Well, I didn't shave my mustache today, so I think I'm all right.
Shut up. Okay, so Tom was a hellion little brat of a kid. He was a terrible, no good, awful, very bad child. He was said to be mean, manipulative, just an asshole. He never bonded with his stepmother. He didn't like her, and he definitely didn't like any of the children that she had after they were married. He hated every single one of his 6 step-siblings, or half-siblings?
Half.
Yeah.
6?
6.
Jesus, man.
It was 1800s. It happened.
Well, he did live on a cotton plantation. Somebody had to take care of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So he hated all of those new siblings, just not for it. Tom grew up to be, and this is a quote, to have a quarrelsome and irascible nature. He was also said to be, and this is also a quote, noticeably mentally deranged.
Whoa, now.
Yeah. So those who knew him also called him, once again a quote, a sharp, cunning, dissipated, unscrupulous fellow and a very perverse, obstinate, eccentric, and cranky sort of person.
But all of that while being mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So he was a mean old dick, apparently. Just.
Even from a young age, he was a crotchety old man.
From a young age. He was just a dick. Like, let's be real about it. Not George, excuse me.
Nope. George. He's George now.
He's Tom. Tom was actually briefly married to a young woman, and her name was Georgia Bird, but she noped the fuck out of there after 3 weeks of marriage.
Whoa.
And then later
quick.
divorced him. Yeah.
Wow.
So in the 1850s, she divorced this asshole. Or the 1860s, I'm sure.
God, divorce was allowed back then?
Apparently, she just left, up and left, and later divorced him. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that guy. So her quote for him is, she said he is not crazy. It is simple meanness. He is the meanest man I ever saw, and there is nothing too mean for him to do. So apparently he was an abuser too. He was a just terrible, horrible, no good, very bad person. He grew up to be a dick. And he hated his stepmother so bad, and his siblings just couldn't stand him. And as he grew older and his father grew older, he also felt that they stood in the way of his inheriting his father's cotton plantation.
Well, of course they did.
Yeah. So, in June of 1887, he took a last trip to Athens to visit his Aunt Fanny, who he loved very much, apparently. And it was reported that he was behaving bizarrely this whole trip. He was talking just completely incoherently. He was very paranoid and suspicious of everybody that he talked to. He paced the floors at all hours of the day and night, and he carried a sidearm at all times. And he wasn't usually known for carrying a gun, so that sort of struck people as strange. And his aunt said at the time that it was clear that his mental state had deteriorated and that he had gone a little crazy.
Well, this is freaking scary.
Yeah, so on Saturday, August the 6th of 1887, sometime between 2 and 4 a.m., all of the members of the Wolf Fork household were brutally massacred in their home.
Well, this took a turn.
Now, the shot in the dark question is...
I never saw this coming when you said it was the Wolf Fork axe
murders.
The Wolf Fork ass murders. It's a completely different story. He had 12 burritos. Went home. Committed the Wolf Fork ass murders.
It'd be a much better story.
The question, I'm sorry, shot in the dark.
Shot in the dark question. How many people were murdered?
This is easy math.
Was it A, 7, B, 8, or C, 9?
Okay.
7, 8, 9.
What I know is that he hated his stepmother. And the step siblings. I'm not sure if he hated his two sisters.
His sisters were not in the picture. They had been married and gone, so I will help you out there.
Thank you.
Sisters were not on the plantation.
Give me the choices again. You said
7, 8, or 9.
7, 8, 9. All right. We have no information about his relationship with his father. I don't know if all the step siblings were still in the house. I'll just make it a clean sweep that he no, fuck that. There might have been a servant or something there. I'm going to say 9.
Shit.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get you with the math.
There was a maid or something.
It was an ant, but yeah.
Oh, he killed his aunt too? Not the good aunt.
Not the good aunt. Okay, give me another shot.
Uh-oh. Here, after you do this one, I'll do one too, to even it out a little bit.
Do you have like a shooter that is not alcoholic? Because my lip is going to need something.
Okay, what? What are you asking right now?
Well, I mean, I have a beer and a cocktail to shoot this back with.
You just want a drink?
A chaser.
All right, hold on. We're going to leave the mics live. I'm going to get up real quick.
Why are you leaving them live?
Why not?
I feel like I should probably put some chapstick on or something.
Do you want some juice or a soda?
Just like water or something.
Water is not a chaser, Leah.
Oh my god. That juice is acidic. It's gonna hurt too.
You want some tea?
Sure. Okay, shot.
All right.
Oh my god, that tea is so good.
Yeah, take that shot. You got some birthday cake tea now to wash it down with.
Thank you. You're such a sweetheart. Ready? Oh my god, I'm gonna burn my lip. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Nice.
Honestly, not as bad the second time. I think I'm a little drunk.
I think you're a lot drunk. Give me the shot glass. I'll do one too, just for the fun of it.
For the fun of it.
Yeah, to help you out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Make you seem less foolish.
Foolish how?
Oh, your mustache.
Shut up! It's just a little vellus hair.
Alrighty, here we go. I'm gonna do one
Steve.
too. Just help out a little bit. Steve around?
Yeah, he's on the printer.
Oh. No, he's on my computer. What are you doing? Little kitten.
Bleh. How's your mustache?
Oh. Mustache is fine. I will have to agree with you about shots. Oh, I got the chills.
Told you.
Um,
I'm not kidding.
Tito's is excellent if you're sipping it. Don't take shots of it because first of all, it's a waste of really good vodka,
Thank you.
and secondly, it's chills again, twice. 2 chills off of 1 shot. Oh, okay.
See, and you were making fun of me, saying, "Oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
you're fun
better
to
than
watch.
Elizabeth."
I'm not flapping my
Lies.
arms and running circles in the.
Sometimes flapping my arms makes it better. Okay.
I'll agree. It always makes it better for me.
All right. Well, let's get back to the victims of these axe murders.
Yeah, all 9 of them. Mm-hmm. I got it right.
So there were 9 of them, like Mitch correctly guessed.
Woo.
The victims were Richard F. Woolfork. He was aged 54. His wife, Maddie H. Woolfork, 41. And their 6 children, Richard Jr., who was 20. Pearl was 17. Annie was 10. Rosebud was 7. I knew you were going to do that shit. Knew it.
Oh, that's mean.
Anyway, Charlie was 5. Stop it. Charlie was 5 and baby Maddie was 18 months old. And then
that doesn't work, is it?
No. So, baby Maddie was 18 months old. And then the one that I was going to throw you a curveball with was 84-year-old Temperance West, who is a relative of Mrs. Woolfork. Mm-hmm. And she was visiting the family. And she also got killed.
Can I just say that he named his second batch of kids the firstborn from there, Junior, and not Tom. So maybe that had something to do with it. Richard, this is on you.
I mean, maybe he liked those people better.
It sounds to me like he probably did.
Yeah.
And with good reason, because...
But that's still no reason to be axed to death.
No. Obviously, I was joking.
Anyway, like I was saying...
Tom's a little off.
Yeah.
I think.
All of the victims were killed by a single blow to the head with a short-handled axe.
Just once?
Yes. Which was left behind in one of the rooms of the home. And the crime scene was incredibly gory. There was blood spatter everywhere. Mm-hmm. Brain tissue pulled on the floor. It was like...
And they know it was one single swing.
Well...
Because I want to make a clarification here.
Now, the bodies had wounds as well, but like the killing stroke was like an axe to the forehead.
Okay, because I wanted to make a clarification. If there was spatter is brought about by multiple blows. Spatter is I hit you again, I come back a third time, and it flies off the weapon. That's what blood spatter is. Blood splatter is when you hit and it explodes out.
Oh my God, can you calm the fuck down?
No, I want to make this...
Splatter, spatter, smatter. I don't know what it was. There was blood droplets everywhere.
Splatter, spatter.
There was blood. It was bloody.
I want to clarify, because if it was one
spray.
swing on each person, there wouldn't be, like, a lot of blood, there'd be blood pooled where they died.
No, there was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
He was hacking them up.
Yeah, so he swung that axe a bunch.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him with an axe to the forehead. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yes. Excuse me for getting that wrong, but
That's
I
okay.
have the best research podcast ever.
I appreciate.
So the only person that made it out of the house alive was Tom.
Oh, that's weird. Wait, was he living there at the time?
He was.
Okay, that's kind of weird, actually.
So at dawn, he ran to the nearest neighbor's house for help, and he claimed that everyone in his father's house had been murdered in the night. He said that he only escaped because he jumped out a window and fled for safety. He alerted the neighbors, and then he came home, and he went through the house and checked to see if anybody else had survived. And he heard the killers escaping out the back of the house because they slammed the gate.
I'll bet they did.
Then he cleaned himself up and he tossed his bloody clothes down the well. Because that's what you do when you're innocent. You throw away all of your blood-spattered clothes.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what I do. You're not going to wear them again.
I mean,
there's blood all over them.
Toss them down the well. Like you do. So within a few hours, the authorities arrived at the house, as well as a ton of curious town folks and looky-loos and curious folk.
Okay.
Yeah, so they held a coroner's inquest on the spot immediately, and everybody was like, it was Tom. It was Bizarro Tom. Fucking weird dude. You totally killed your family. No one in the community liked him at all because he was a no good, very bad person.
No good, very bad Tom.
Yeah, and he admitted that all of the footprints that were bloody and walking through the house were his, but it was only because he was checking on everybody to make sure they were dead and not, he was checking for survivors, and that's why he spread his bloody boot prints all over the house.
I believe him.
But during the inquest, he was also found to have blood spatter in his ears and a bloody handprint on his leg. So he also showed no emotion about his completely massacred family. And there were no signs of forced entry. There were no stolen valuables. There was nothing at all that looked like this was any kind of break-in. It just looked like Tom axed his family to death, which is what happened.
Well, you don't know that. Say allegedly.
Allegedly.
We don't want him suing
Well, he was
us.
convicted, so anyway.
Well, still alleged?
No, it's not. That becomes a thing. Anyway, so the coroner's jury found Tom to be the guilty party, and the sheriffs quickly and quietly took Tom to jail to prevent the gathered crowd from lynching him on the spot. Because that's what angry mobs do, apparently.
Yeah.
And it was a media shitstorm. Everybody went crazy. They were posting all sorts of just lurid details about this axe murder in Georgia. They were just widely publicized in the national press even. And they made the front page of the New York Times.
Nice.
So it was serious. The crime was called the bloodiest, blackest chapter in Georgia criminal history. And the most shocking murder ever committed in Georgia. And one of the most heinous crimes committed in this state or any other.
I mean, it's pretty heinous.
Yeah. The bloodiest tragedy in the annals of crime. And
Gross.
The most ferocious and harrowing crime ever recorded in the annals of civilization. So they were
What is
going
it with all the
crazy.
annals? Why they got to keep saying that?
I don't
It makes
know.
it grosser.
It was the 1880s. It's a thing. I don't know. Lots of annals then.
Yeah. There was so much annal.
So many annals. Anyway, Tom was obviously the chief suspect.
I'm 30 years old. Making annal jokes.
Anyway, Tom was the chief suspect, and he was described by all these papers as the most brutal murderer that ever figured in the annals of our state. And the most notorious criminal of modern times, the greatest monster of the age, and the cruelest, most bloodthirsty brute on record. And he was also known as Bloody Wolfork.
Bloody Wolfork. That's a fun name.
I know, right?
Bloody
Anyway,
Wolfork.
So,
Wolf Fork.
was indicted on 9 counts of murder, but he was only actually tried for the murder of his father. Because as a landed gentleman, I guess that carries more of a thing. I don't really know. I'm not a lawyer.
A landed gentleman?
Like he had land.
He
was
owned
a plantation
land?
order. He had a plantation.
Okay. Nice.
Anyway.
You gonna make it?
I don't think
We're so close.
Okay. So, like I said, he was only tried for the murder of his father, which I thought was weird, but maybe that was just they were going to try him one at a time until one stuck. I don't know. But anyway, the trial began in the Superior Court of Bibb County on December the 5th of 1887. And the jury deliberated 12 minutes, and they convicted him on December the 15th.
Only took him 12 minutes?
12 minutes.
Nice.
And he was sentenced to death the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So on February the 11th of 1889, he was granted a retrial by the Supreme Court of Georgia because the previous court had done nothing to stop the court spectators from chanting, "Hang him! Hang him!" during closing arguments of that first trial, which apparently you can't do.
Look, court proceedings being what they are, that's so funny. That is something that you would see on a sitcom or something.
Yeah, so like it got him
so
a
funny.
retrial because the judge didn't do anything to stop those people from chanting to hang him. So I guess that's a thing. So they
should have done
retried him.
something. You
And
know.
they also granted him a change of venue because clearly the locals were incredibly biased against him because he murdered 9 of their friends.
Right.
Whatever. So he was retried on June the 3rd of 1889 in Perry County, Georgia. Not Perry County, excuse me, Perry, Georgia. It's a city. And in the Houston County Superior Court. So on June the 24th, the jury deliberated for 45 minutes this time.
What?
I know, right? And
They're
they
giving him his fair
convicted him.
shake, though.
Yeah, and they convicted him of the murder, and he was sentenced to death the next day.
Okay.
So on October...
Was anybody chanting this time?
No chanting, apparently. So on October the 29th of 1890, he was hanged in front of a crowd of 10,000 people in Perry, Georgia.
That is so many freaking people.
It was the biggest crime of the time. Like, it was front page New York Times news.
That's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's so many freaking
Hanged
people.
in front of a crowd of 10,000 people in Perry, Georgia. And while on the scaffold, he once again denied his guilt. He said, "Look, y'all, I didn't do this shit." And they hung him anyway. Because that's what they do.
Well, I mean, obviously he's going to say that he didn't do it.
Well, I mean,
he is
some murderers...
sociopath.
Yeah, but, like, they were
Obviously.
expecting him to have, like, a deathbed confessional kind of thing. I totally did it, and then,
Well,
like, ka-chunka. And
That's
it didn't.
not as common as people would like to think.
Yeah, well, the crowd was really pissed about it anyway. So he's buried in Orange Hill Cemetery in Hawkinsville, Georgia, and his tombstone has been vandalized repeatedly.
Right.
Like,
Makes sense.
they've replaced his stone several times, and it just... People just vandalized the shit out of it because he murdered 9 of his family members.
Oh, you almost said 10.
But I didn't.
We'll go back and retake the shot in the dark.
Anyway. And then all of his victims are buried in Rose Hill Cemetery in Macon, Georgia in a family plot. And I've actually been to that cemetery, and it is massive.
Why'd you go to that cemetery?
The founder of my sorority is buried there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, in Macon.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I've actually been to that plot, too. I've been to there. Because, I mean, there's like a little...
They put him in the family plot?
The
Is that what
family
you said?
plot. No, the victims. They were all buried together.
Okay.
He was buried near one of his sisters in a different cemetery.
One of
The
his
sister
full
was buried
sisters.
next to him later. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they were all buried in a family plot there in Rose Hill Cemetery. And there's like a map of like famous graves in that. So like one of the Allman Brothers is buried there.
Yeah.
And
like the
I
one
said,
we went to in Savannah
Yeah.
that had all the, the child one is this way.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all that sort
Same
of stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
So like I said, an Allman
Cher.
Brothers buried there, like a general's buried there. my sorority sister, like the founder of our sorority, was buried there. So
Yes.
and we went and looked at all the famous graves there.
Mhm.
It was very hot. I don't recommend it.
Well, don't go in the middle of June.
Well, we did though, and it was very
But
hot.
you shouldn't have.
No, we shouldn't have. But anyway, that is the story of the Wolf Fork axe murders. I
enjoyed that one.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I apologize to anyone this upsets, but I like murder stories. I like serial killer stories and you
that
know.
makes me upset.
I like true.
I'm not gonna sleep well
Wait,
tonight.
I'll go back and edit it. I like true crime.
Okay, better.
Yeah, there we go. It softens the blow.
A little bit.
I'm not
of
going
the
to
axe.
edit. Yeah, it softens the axe blow. Stop, Leah. That's not funny.
It was a little funny.
It's very funny.
I'm sorry.
It softens the axe blow.
We don't mean to, like... Part of the reason that I chose this one, because, like, if it was a modern-day axe murder, it would make me cry and make me very upset. But, like, it's like an 1850s axe murder, so you're like...
And can we talk about something?
There's enough space for me to not be upset as much.
No. Let's talk about something since we're on this subject right now. We were talking about the lynch mob and everything that was coming for him and trying to get to him before he actually had his day in court and everything. This weekend, like I said, this is going to be releasing in 2 weeks? We're recording these in advance. But this very weekend is the weekend that the lynching museum is opening in Montgomery, Alabama, the Equal Justice Initiative.
Yeah.
Lynch Museum. And the newspaper...
I don't think it's the Lynch Museum.
It's not what it's called, but it's
a museum that sort of presents that history and is memorializing the victims of lynch mobs and that kind of thing.
It's a whole... Yeah. And the Montgomery Advertiser, the newspaper in Montgomery, has... they put out a piece a couple days ago explaining how, with the importance of this memorial opening up today, the museum opening up now, about how much the Advertiser failed throughout history. They republished and published quotes from their articles about how lynch mobs happened when people were just accused of this stuff, especially black people, but they did have some white people things involved. There were lynch mobs that killed white people as well. And how the Advertiser basically defended all of those lynch mobs.
Yeah.
And they published a long piece about that, and you could probably find it online somewhere. It's a really good read. It's a really touching piece about how we fucked up and we still tried to... It was, like in the 20s and 30s, they were still trying to say... The New York Times was publishing stuff about how these lynch mobs were happening and it was a problem, and the Advertiser was saying, well, the Northerners can stay out of our business type of stuff.
Which is what they always say.
Yeah.
Even our governor has lately said, those Northerners can stay out of our Confederate monuments, and bless.
Well, the Advertiser did a really good thing, I think, this past weekend when they published that article.
Yeah.
And it's just talking about lynch mobs. It was something that I wanted to bring up.
I'd like to go see that
touching.
too next time we're in town.
Go. A friend of mine works in the SPLC in Montgomery, Southern Poverty Law Center, and he got tickets, and he said the tickets for the museum are only like $5. Something like that.
I want to go see.
Yeah, and I would like to go to it. It's supposed
to be... Because they've got a civil rights museum down there, too, that is stunning.
It's supposed to be serious.
It is heart-wrenching.
This new lynching memorial thing is supposed to be super serious.
It is rough. Don't come if you're not prepared to, bawl your eyes out.
Yeah. It makes me kind of feel like I still lived in Montgomery, because we could have gone to that concert over the weekend. Stevie Wonder was there. The Roots were there. Dave Matthews was there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that's all right. We'll just stick to North Alabama for now.
But I do want to go see that. I think it's a really worthwhile project that they've put together. And like I said, just particularly with the history of that town in particular, with everything that went down, it's a really cool thing that they've done, and I want to go see it.
I do too.
All right.
We'll go soon.
Okay.
But for now, how about we just get a toast for our stories for the night?
Okay, everybody out there, raise that glass. Let's do this. All right, tonight we're going to toast the Falk Monster and Crazy Tom's axe-murdered family. Raise that glass.
Yes,
so,
the monster from Falk is three-toed and scary. He could be real or just legendary. Tom axed his family, then tried to vamoose, but a few trials later, he was hung in a noose. Drink.
What a good poem.
Toast, Mitch. It's a toast, not a poem.
It was a poem toast. Toast poem. So no poem?
No, it's a toast.
Just call it a toast?
Yes.
All right, well, my bad. I got a little inebriated this episode.
Indeed.
So I apologize for that. Oh, man. But anyway, thanks.
You're going to have a lot to do editing.
What?
You're going to have a lot to do editing.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit to do here. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast. Please like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Follow us on Twitter at S Spirits Podcast. If you have any personal stories, you have anything you want to share with us, especially if you have some alcohols around you that I should try, send us an email at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Please like us and rate us and review us on iTunes. You can't like on iTunes. I apologize for that. But do rate us and review us. And we will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.